Shalom. This is Brother Yahawah coming again with another lesson. Giving all praises to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the hopeful elect brethren teaching and pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. So, just wanted to do a quick lesson on the topic of the Gentiles. Basically, these Gentiles that receive salvation or any type of blessing or benefit, right? They are the Israelites. Okay? And here, I'm going to start here with John 7:1, right? Because Yahawashi was sent only to the Israelites. All right? The lost sheep of Israel. This is John chapter 7, Salaki, and verse 34. Ye shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I go, Salakia, and where I am, thither ye cannot come. Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Now, what I wanted to get here is, first off, it says dispersed among the Gentiles, right? These are talking about Israelites who are dispersed among, the Greeks, okay? And when you look at that word for dispersed, you get diaspora, diaspora, and that means a scattering, dispersion. And you get a drop-down definition A of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations, right? So these Jews, they knew that they had people that were dispersed among other nations. Now, specifically, dispersed among the Greeks. Because here we have the word Gentiles. The word for Gentiles here is Helen, right? Now, Helen is the word you would use for someone who follows Greek customs, right, and speaks Greek, right? Jews that spoke Greek, right? It says a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of Greek islands or colonies. Definition 2, in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations. It says not Jews, but it goes off there because we're going to prove that this also includes Jews. All nations, not Jews, that made the language, custom, and learning of the Greeks their own. The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship, right? So, Israelites, became as Greeks. They were Hellenized Jews, right, during the Hellenistic period in history, right? And the scriptures, right, which includes the Apocrypha, it lines up with history, which lets you know that the scriptures in the Bible is valid. All right, so just to prove that, I have this article here. It's called Hellenization. Or Salakia. That's not the one I was looking for. It's called Hellenistic Judaism. Right? It says, and we're going to read some of it. It says, Hellenistic Judaism was a form of Judaism in classical antiquity that combined Jewish religious traditions with elements of Greek culture until the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the early Muslim conquests of the Eastern Mediterranean. The main centers of Hellenistic Judaism were Alexandria, Egypt, Antioch, now in southern Turkey, the two main Greek urban settlements of the Middle East and North Africa area, both founded at the end of the 4th century BCE in the wake of the conquest of Alexander the Great. Right? So this guy Alexander, which was from Macedon, okay, he started the Hellenistic era. Right? It says Hellenistic Judaism also existed in Jerusalem during the Second Temple period, where there was conflict between Hellenizers and traditionalists, sometimes called Judaizers. Right? So these Hellenizers were Jakes who were pushing, following Greek culture, right? Because they turned away from the covenant, right? The laws, statutes, and commandments, right? But then you had Judas Maccabeus, right, which was a Levite who wanted to stop, stuck with the laws, statutes, and commandments, and fought against the Greeks and the wicked Israelites who wanted to be Hellenized. Okay, it says a major literary product of contact. Let me see. I'm gonna just jump down to here. Then you have here the word Hellenism. Right? It says the conquest of Alexander in the late 14th century BCE spread Greek culture and colonization, a process of cultural change called Hellenization. Right? It says over non-Greek lands, including the Levant, this gave rise to the Hellenistic period, right, which sought to create a common or universal culture in the Alexandrian Empire based off the 5th century Athens, right? So the Greeks, just like today, which there's nothing new under the sun, as it says in Ecclesiastes, right? Just like today, Esau, so-called white man, he basically colonized all these different parts of the world, right? And forced their culture on them. And that's why you see a lot of, when you go to, certain countries, well, a lot of, different countries, they have, the same things that they have here in America, you know, and democracy is pushed in a lot of these countries that America helps. Okay. So with that being said, Salakia, let me connect this to the charger. With that being said, the point I wanted to get is a process of cultural change called Hellenization, right, over non-Greek lands, including the Levant. So the Greeks were spreading their culture and their language. The language comes with the culture, right, to these other nations, right? Now, who do these other nations include? Now, in the Strongs, it went off and it said not the Jews, but it included the Jews. As you can see here on this map, let's get it. As you can see here on this map, part of that, as these highlighted green areas, part of that, part of that was, Israel. As you can see, this little green strip going through there. Part of that was Israelites, right? So to prove that, we're gonna go to this is the reason why it says Helen, the Greeks. right? This is the reason why. We're going to go to the Apocrypha. We're going to go to First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1, right? Going off of Alexander the Great. This is when the Hellenistic era, okay, started. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius the king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Boom. Right? So let you know that and this is in history. You can this is in secular history. So the Bible lines up with history, man. History is in the scriptures, man. And it says and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, right? So he was going around conquering and went through all the ends of the earth and took spoils and made of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. All right. So there you go, man. And it gives is give you all really valuable details to let you know that Bible's valid. But I just want to drop down here to I'm gonna start at 10. It says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. So now this is coming out of one of the four generals who took rule after Alexander died. This is coming out of Seleucus, right? So the Seleucus part of the Greek Empire, was over Israel, right? So now this is what this is here. This is these Israelites who wanted to be like the heathen, who wanted to be like the Greeks. So this is why it says, will he go amongst the Israelites dispersed among the Greeks, right? Or the Hellenized, Israelites. So that's why it says Helen there. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Okay, so these these Israelites, they wanted to go be like the heathen, right? They wanted to make themselves degenerates like the heathen, man, right? So it says, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, right? So they were doing after the ordinances of the heathens, right? And all the heathens at that time were following Greek customs, all right, as we just got. This is the Hellenistic era, right? To be making them like Greeks. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, right? And when you go into secular history, this is when the first gymnasium was built in Jerusalem, right? Which is basically exercise in butt naked. The word gymnos or gymnasium comes from the Greek word gymnos, which means to be naked, right? And the Greeks are known for that freak stuff like that, man. And Israelites wanted to partake in that. It says they made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, right? So they cast off the laws of Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, and they went to do after the heathens, right? And it says right, there's another point. I wanted to get here. Right. It says this is down at 41. It says, moreover, Antiochus Epiphany Salakia. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, right? So he wanted everybody to be one, just like they do here in America. Which lets you know, man, that these ancient Greeks who were calling themselves Greeks were Edomites, man, so-called white people. That those same people are here today, man, because they what this is what you call this is the melting pot, man, where all these different nations are together, right? And you have the melting pot here in America, where all these different nations are together, right? So, and you have Israelites now who are in a Gentile state of mind, right? Which meaning that they are like the heathen, right? Because they want to follow the ways of the heathen. Now, that's the point I wanted to get there with the Hellenistic era. Shalakia. You get some but really that proves that there were Israelites who became as Greeks, right? Who became as Greeks. They started serving their gods, right? Following after their ways, okay? Doing as the Greeks do, right? Now, Paul, he wrote this to the let me see here, the Corinthians, right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto dumb idols, even as you were led. And we just read it, right? Because these wicked Israelites who went out and decided to do after the ways of the Greeks, imagine they had children, their children had children, right? And they taught their children the ways of the Greeks. So now you have Israelites who grew up speaking Greek, doing the things that the Greek did, thinking that they're Greek, right? Because and this is what it means when the scripture says neither Jew nor Greek, because there was enmity between the Jews who knew that they were Jews and kept those laws, okay, and the Israelites who were following the customs of the heathen. They considered them to be like the heathen, to be heathens basically. So they didn't deal with them, right? And you see that enmity start with these wicked Israelites that came out and Antiochus Salakia, not Antiochus Epiphanes, Judas Maccabeus, right? Because they made wars against the Greeks and the Israelites who wanted to be like the Greeks, right? So these Gentiles that are spoken about are Israelite foreigners, man. And let's go back to it. And I just wanted this to be a short video going into it. I may actually do a longer video. Let me see. So I want to read that again. This is This is that same scripture again, because when you go into that, right again, that word diaspora is when it says dispersed among the Gentiles. It says of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations, right? So there was a beef between the Jews who knew that they were Jews and they kept the laws, statutes, and commandments, and in between the Israelites who were scattered, who were following the ways of the heathen, right? So now, interesting thing is when you take the same scripture, John 7:35. Let's get this, because the Salakia, because the when you go to the NIV, it gets real specific, and it says things real specifically, right? So this is John, right? As it translates these words here. Let me see, NIV. Right. So now when you read this is John 7:35. It says, the Jews said to one another, where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people live, right? The Jews people, the Israelites, scattered among the Greeks, and teach the Greeks? So then that poses the question, why is it saying Greeks? Why doesn't it say scattered? Which we know that Gentiles, that would include Israelites scattered amongst the other nations, but in this particular case, this is scattered amongst the Greeks, right? The Helens. Okay, it says scattered among the Greeks and teach the Greeks, right? So it says our people scattered among the Greeks, right? So they knew that there was Israelites scattered among the Greeks. So these are those Gentiles that's being spoken about. All right, but Lord willing, that was edifying. Once again, all praises to Yahawah, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Arakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect brethren, teaching and pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.